Morning, guys. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training, and Ginger, who's all spunk and vinegar. Now, I mentioned yesterday in our session yesterday how every dog is different. And one of those things that with experience and time, you start getting into seeing all these differences in breed and type, and you can sense when something is going to work better than others, or because your path is always going to kind of deviate a little bit. Sure, your core is going to be the same. Your core is going to be, sorry about that, bowls, tables, things like this, the core of the training. But when you see things in the animal, that you can use to put in your toolbox, one of those is play with her, right? So I'm going to bring in the balls. I started cracking the ice yesterday with it. She's going to go. She's going to take a little time. Yes. Good. So I'm trying to get her to see this picture, right? So let me go ahead and move this stuff out of my way because I don't want her diving to it out of behaviors that are already set, because she gets, whether you realize it or not, classical conditioning sets in for everything. Same location, bowls, tables, things like this that she learns that gives her warm and fuzzy thoughts into the work because she sees this. This is what makes it all go. Pattern and routine, right? It's not necessarily that you have to have a table. That's not my point. It's a matter that you need to have consistency in whatever you're doing that the dog can get a high on, right? Because they do. They get high on whatever your behavior is. Now with her, what I found was that she has an excitement level stimulated by voice tone and a happiness that she's got there, that core that's her. Look at her. Good, good, good. That being the case, it's going to be something we need to be aware of that I can use and I can stimulate and use, but also on the other side, we need to teach her to be calm. You talk about off switches and where her head's at in the work. I don't need her bouncing all over the place when I'm trying to get her working. That's not going to work for me. But when we break and we do certain things, so I call it tightening down the screw. As I go along, I'm going to start expecting more of her all the time. Now, I don't know if you saw me do that, but right when I asked her to go around for that pitch, I tapped, okay? It's a lot about pressure. Now, it's funny because I've lived this life for a lot of years, and I've done it in learning to communicate with the dog and feeling it in my gut. What do I need to do to bring strength out? You hear me talking about it before, if you've ever watched my videos for any length of time, where I'm always talking about strength, because I want a strong dog that can take a man down and to be machismo. How do I get that? It's how I manipulate the dog and I put pressure on the dog in their development. Yep, good. That makes the dog, exactly as Justin said. He did a great video on this subject yesterday talking about pressure. And one of his comments was that he wants a dog that he can build through pressure that won't crumble. Okay? I've got a dog right now that is a very high quality bred dog, but he has a lot of lack in development because he's owned by a civilian that doesn't live, eat, and breathe, sleep dogs like I do. He got to go to work. He's got a lifestyle. All he really wants is a dog to protect his yard. And it's sad because that dog is, in a nutshell, going to waste in a lot of ways because his caliber, the caliber of the animal is so high he could have done anything with the dog if it was molded and shaped in the beginning and development of the dog. And also, let me make sure we have this camera set, that you keep it up. And I saw another post the other day that was right on point that was important. They were talking about having a personal protection dog and then needing to put the work in and then stay on it and stay working the animal, that it doesn't just get done today and then it's over with, right? Because if you do, anything to do is behavior is going to set in. If you're not working the dog, you're not doing the work. That knife edge that you put on the dog, as far as a nice, sharp, keen knife that you're trying to develop for whatever you're trying to develop for. And with me, we're talking working dogs, right? We're talking dogs that we're going to develop to work, right? That being the case, even though she's pet quality, dog's a dog. I'll bring her out the best I can in any way, shape, or form to give her strength, right? How do I give her strength? People, places, things, environment, and pressure that we're putting on her. Right now, good. She's in that early development stage, but that's what I want out of the animal. So with her, exuberance, this high energy outflow, little, nope. Good. Now, if you would have saw me the first day, there's a hot dog right there. I would have barely touched this. She was kind of shying away. Now you see me having to put a little bit more pressure in. Good. All right, so let's stop talking theory. Let's get into my healing that I was talking about. Now, on my page on YouTube, you guys are watching this on YouTube, Yep, good, good, good. Yes. Quiet. Knock it off. You can go through my playlist on my page, find my playlist, scroll down until you find one on healing. And I've got one on healing. There's about six different videos in there. They go through a whole series of turns that we'll do. This is how we teach a dog to stay at our body. So the first one is this picture. We're back to that concept of pictures. Dogs seeing pictures. Yes. Good. Yes. Right now I'm trying to build in time level and a bunch of other things so the dog learns to wait and be patient and anticipate that it's coming. We're trying to get the dog to learn what we would call forever hopeful by having their head here. Yes. Good, good, good. Nope, nope. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. I got to force myself to have that pause between the time I mark it and then I give the reward. Real important, because then you'll avoid some of the, and then having a double. Quiet! Buddy, you howling. I got a bitch in season that I've got a nice breeding with. Hopefully we'll get a litter of puppies out of it. Out of my stock of, it's Jezzy, and Jezzy is the sister of Buddy. Excuse me, Buddy is his uncle. Quiet. And nope, good dog, good. There you go. Yes. So Jezzy is Daisy's daughter, and Buddy is Daisy's sister brother, right? Same litter, Daisy and Buddy. And then so that's the uncle of Jezzy. Jezzy is breeding is out of, yep, Daisy is her mother. Jezzy's mother is Daisy, and Daisy is a heck of a dog. She did a lot of, I think it was paws and jaws. The guy's now went out of business now, but he bred the heck out of her for a few years. Nope. Good. So what I'm trying to do is give her that first picture, her sitting at my side and learning to, nope, with me. Go into the heel. Yes. Yes. Good. And this first stage of training, this communication baseboard that we're putting together with the dog, is going to be everything for this dog's life. If the owners get off the couch and learn and grow and keep it up, that's the key. Good, good, good. Come on. Good, good, good. There you go. Yes. Good. So back to the excitement and exuberance. I can hit a high pitch with her and she'll bounce off the ceilings. And that's because that's who she is, an individual. So I need to manipulate the drive states. And with this dog, her manipulation is going to be a little bit of both. I'm going to give a lot of explosions and having fun and playing with the ball. And it's going to be a big part of it because she loves to play. It's in her nature. So that being the case, I want to use that to my advantage when I see it. All right? Yes. Good. Yes. Good. Yes. Getting a nice hang on that head way up, right? Good, good, good. Yes. Then I see some mark and then separation. And later I'm going to start trying to get better at having a double marker. So you mark and then you come into your pouch afterwards to give them the toy. And I'm going to do a lot of that to try to start really working on my whole mugging hand situation that I got going on with my behavior and my habits, right? We're all human. Good, good. Yes. Then reward, right? Yes. Then reward. Okay. I need to do a lot of that. All right. So now I need to walk. I'm going to, good, good, good. Nope. Good. There you go. And the reason I didn't give a word is because look at the position. We're in a new picture. So I'll start all over again. I'll start the word here pretty quick. Good. Down. Nope. Good. Good. So I will be tightening down the screw a little bit too with what I expect of her as she starts to come up in fluency. I'll start saying that you've got to do what you got to do, and then pair it with a lot of reward chasing, things like that, right? If I had, this would be the type of dog, if I had the right ground and didn't have dirt, I'd be throwing toys, throwing, hot dogs. with me. Good, good, good. There you go. Good. With me. Good, good. There you go. Good. Yes. So I'm not going to go far. I'm only going to go a little bit so she learns to move. A lot of trainers in Schutzen and IGP, they'll do these things and they'll break it down into one little block where this is all they're doing. I call it static work, right? It means we're just standing there. Yes. But it's boring as heck for me. I've got to be moving, I've got to be doing stuff. So I kind of mesh all my stuff together and I don't have the ability, yes, to sit here and, yes, okay, and wait for that to come together. And then sit there and do that for a week with just the head pointing up and saying yes and getting just that head being perfect. And that's how they get the high points in IGP, though. They break it down into little blocks and everything's got to be perfect in between the build, right? Good. Maybe my failing all the way around that I don't have the patience to sit here. Yes. Good. With me. Good, good, good. There you go. Good, good, good. There you go. Come on. Nope, nope. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. That little exuberance. Yes, good. Yes. That gets her all over the place. We're going to start. I'll actually do one of my 1,001 to 0 probably with her, which is where I'll create the excitement on purpose. I'll go crazy. She'll bounce up, and then I'll check her, and I'll take my energy level down to 0, and then walk real slow and very easy going so that the dog learns to calm. They don't understand it until you can teach them both sides of the coin, yin and yang. We talked about that yesterday. All right, that's pretty much it. So we're going to start into our healing exercise. If you're more interested in that, get on my page and look up my playlist called Healing. And there should be 5 or 6 videos in there. It goes through all the different turns that I'll be going through that with her on this one, on this series, so you can see it. But you need to refer to that because I'm really specific about it on that video offering on my YouTube page. Good. Or you can go to somebody else and pay them big bucks for it. Good. See this? This is where it starts, right here. Good. Where they want to follow those hands every time you move. There's that one trainer called it jazz hands, right? All right. Talk to you guys later. Mark Ferrasci, Protect Dog Training and Ginger.